All right, and welcome back to episode 034 of the
Okay
Guidons podcast powered by the Straight Co. Today's date is August the 13th in the year of our Lord 2024. The price of Bitcoin is $60,760.
Yes,
I'm your host, Grant Broggi, coming to you live, but yet in the future because we're ahead of everything from the upstate, the beautiful upstate of South Carolina. There's only two upstates in the world. There's upstate South Carolina, there's upstate New York, and no one likes the latter. But today's episode is a little bit different for a lot of things. One, we got the boys on already.
What's up, boys?
From the South.
Hey, brother.
And PJ's gone because for some reason PJ decided he wanted to get married this weekend. So,
what a jerk, dude.
Yeah, actually, let me do him a little solid. We'll also put it in the show notes. But if you like PJ and you've ever been married, you know that weddings are not cheap.
No,
so you can go to thenot.com/Jordy Long and Caitlin Davis. Just Google it. It'll pop up.
Buy him a gift.
Links in the show notes. You can donate some money to their future house. You can put a little cash in their pocket for their honeymoon. You can do all sorts of things. But today's a little unorthodox style of podcast. We're going to have to talk Bitcoin. So I think we have some good Bitcoin updates. But we got Jeff here joining us from beautiful, the greater Salt Lake City area. Am I right?
Salt Lake City, indeed.
Yeah, Salt Lake City. But it's not technically, right? Are you a Salt Lake City address?
No, I'm in the city.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My boy's in the city.
My boy's in the
city boy.
My boy's in it. He's in the city.
And we got Mr. Robert Gottlich III, commonly referred to as Trey. You're not in Frisco right now, are you?
No, not in Frisco anymore.
I am Frisco anymore.
H-Town, baby. Houston.
Houston. The Gulf.
Paul Wall.
Garbage town for garbage people. Yeah. That's the city motto.
That's what they say. That's what I've always said about Houston, H-Town.
This freaking humidity.
So do we have some Bitcoin updates from the host here?
Is that talking in
by
third
hosting?
person?
Are you talking about third person there?
The host, plural. That's a hard word to say, plural.
Yeah.
Not to. Sorry, my mic is just driving me nuts right here. PJ usually sets everything up. I sit in here. He powders my face, and yeah, I feel like I'm looking at you guys sideways. But don't we have a new person in the crypto kingdom?
Oh, baby, dipping my toes in.
Yeah, you need a bumper sticker for your car. My treasures on the block height.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the block height is 856671. The number's so big I can't read it in thousands, so you guys can't even see it because the camera change is different. But anyway, shout out Zach Copley. All right, go ahead.
I'll take your word for
Bitcoin.
it. Man, yeah, dip my. We keep talking about it. Might as well see what the fuss is about.
Well, you bought it a good time. You bought the dip.
I did. Yeah, you said buy at the dip, right?
Yeah, you always want to. So, like a basic economics, and this works well in crypto. You want to buy when the prices are low.
Makes sense.
And you want to sell when they're high. So,
but you say don't sell.
Did you write that down?
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to sell.
Hold on, let me write that down real quick.
We're going to sell when they're high. They're just not as high as we think they're going to be.
Oh yeah, okay. I think I'm up $21 right now. So I was thinking about selling.
Well,
sell, dude.
Don't do this. Sell,
dude.
$20.
What are you waiting on?
$20, baby.
That's a can of Copenhagen and a monster for this weekend's drill.
Dude. How much zing you could buy with that?
Not a sin.
One sin.
Yeah, these days. Anyway, that's how we
Baba.
usually do that. That's how we usually do the intro with me and PJ, and then I say, "Well, let's get these guys on here," and then you're here. So
and we're on. Hey, look at us. Man.
Yeah, we're all caught up.
Yeah, I wish I knew more. I wish I knew more about it, but it's I don't know. It's kind of you put a little money aside. It's fun to watch.
Yeah,
I took your advice. I think we talked about it. It's like you put enough in to where if like you completely lose everything, you won't lose any sleep, but it's fun.
Yeah,
enough
I think you
if it blows up.
put enough. Yeah, I think you put enough in that like you're not worried about it.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you put enough in that if it actually does do something, like if it goes from 55 to 110, that like you actually made something, right? Like, you know, if you put $5 in, then you're like, well, cool.
So I refinanced my house and I took half that. Yeah. Took half that.
Smart.
I hope
and put it in.
You know,
yeah, you played it conservative. That's good.
In Southern Baptist accounting, they call something the envelope method or budgeting, I should say, where it's like, you know, you put, it's not just Southern Baptists that do this, but it's where I learned it. And it's like, here's my car payment. I put it in this envelope. Here's my grocery bill. I put it in this envelope. Here's this, and all for the month. And then like when you go to buy that thing, you take it out of that envelope. I know it's very 1990s budgeting, but I told Trey, I said, wait, buy more. And then say, this is for one kid. This is the other kid's. This is my wife's. This is mine. And then, you know, then if it all goes up, everyone gets rich.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how that works.
I took your advice on that.
All right, cool.
It's good, man. I'm excited. It's fun. Just kind of watching Coinbase.
Do you know what you bought at?
No. It was 50. It was like 59.
Oh, so you're up.
Yeah, I'm up right now.
Yeah, you're up. Yeah, sell, baby.
$21.
$21, baby.
Might be 22 now. Check.
Ooh, it could be.
Well, tonight's special in about 20 minutes, we got a special guest on, Gamecock legend Stephan Garcia. We'll talk about him later. So we got 22 minutes to get through the slide deck because as we talked about on the pre-slide tech show, I think we're going to stroll down memory lane of SEC lore with Stephan and be there a while. So, Jeff, what's on the slide deck?
I mean, I think it could be a very short segment, could be a slightly longer segment. We'll see. Trey.
Let's talk about it, man. Yeah, so yesterday morning, woke up early. Kids woke up, went back to sleep, so I was already up. I'm like, might as well get a little workout in. Cleaned out the garage the night before, so home gym's back up and running.
Nice.
Did a three sets of 5 bench press, and then followed that closely with a HIIT exercise that I was worn out. So it probably didn't last as long as it should have. It's gone down. It's gone down, man. I did 3 sets. Of pain? I just started at 225. No pain.
That's good.
No gain.
So no pain, no gain. So I just started light. Something I felt confident in. Just did 225, 3 sets of 5.
Yeah, just humble brag. Brag.
Just super
just light. Got something light, super light. Just repping out 220.
I did close grip.
Reps.
Yeah. Did a little close grip bench. Yeah.
I did one single arm bench with the barbell.
Yeah.
But
okay, back in the gym. Nice.
What was the HIIT workout?
Swing. I did. Let me see. I think I went for 7 minutes, and I did like 3 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 air squats, and I would just kept going. I did as many as I could in about 7 minutes. So
that's cool. That's good. It's good.
And then baby started crying, so I had to go back in. So
which one?
Ray.
Okay.
I think it was Ray. I can't remember.
So you can't tell them apart at this point.
It's when it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
I get it, man. I'm a dad. I totally get it. Luckily, my cats are different colors.
Yeah, you tell them apart.
This is Calhoun, aka Joseph, because he has a coat of many colors. Little Bible joke for you non-Baptist types. All right. Well, that was a short slide. Next slide.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Jeff and I did the same workout this weekend.
That's what I was going to say. We did we did the same workout.
We did the same workout. We just went to the main site, pulled up the most recent MAR admin, and they were like, "You will conduct a combat fitness test." And we both did the same thing.
Wait, just like on your own?
With our batteries.
Okay. I mean, it was drill weekend.
I thought they just sent it out and you just like, hey, do this while you're at your house.
That would be fun.
Man,
we did the CFT.
You posted that, man. I've always thought, one, the CFT makes so much more sense than the PFT. And
yes,
I actually enjoy doing it. Unlike the PFT, I always just like dreaded doing that. But I don't know. I guess maybe explain, if PJ was here, what the CFT encompasses.
Oh, you're as the furthest removed from active duty.
Yeah. Has it changed?
You're taking PJ's spot. Why don't you explain the two, Jeff, and then I'll give my takes.
So Marine Corps basically divides the year in half. 6 months of the year is your physical fitness test season. So kind of your classic military physical fitness test with some, for Marine Corps, 3-mile run, some pull-ups, and now the plank. And then the other half of the year, so is it June through December, is the combat fitness test. And that consists of an 800 and, was it 880? Yeah,
880, right?
Yeah. Half mile. Let's call it.
Yeah.
Actually,
half mile sprint. I always get this confused.
Sometimes they refer to it in yards, and sometimes they refer to it in meters.
I think it's 800 meters, 880 yards.
That sounds right.
Okay,
that sounds right.
But I'm gonna be PJ for a second.
Correct.
It's 880 yards.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how the Marine Corps, because we're Americans.
Yeah,
so we talk in yards. Yeah. Okay. 880 yards, which is 2 laps around the track.
Yes. Yeah. And you do that wearing, so like your utility pants or trousers, t-shirt.
So like Dickies, and there's like a carpenter little strap. You have a hammer hanging. Is that what you mean by utility?
Your camouflage pants.
Oh, okay.
And then your boots. So you're running in boots, which is always super fun. But half mile sprint. And then you do ammo can lifts in 2 minutes. 30-pound ammo can, basically pressing it from below the chin to locked out overhead, but you can also like press it out in front of you. I don't know. It's kind of a weird.
You have to extend the elbows, and it has to be above your nose, but you can also use your legs.
What do they call that? What do they call that one?
Ammo can press.
Ammo can lift.
So it's like movement to contact, and then you have ammo. It's just called ammo cans. That's lame. And then you have movement under fire.
Yeah, maneuver under fire.
Oh, maneuver under fire.
Maneuver warfare.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about that one, Jeff?
TAC 1. So then the maneuver under fire, you're wearing your boots, your trousers, and your blouse. So your camouflage uniform, your camouflage like utility uniform. And then you do like a sprint to a high or to a low crawl to a high crawl, and then you zigzag through some cones. You get to the end of the zigzag.
I know we call it a baby crawl.
you got your buddy that's waiting for you at the end.
Oh, nothing like a good buddy carry.
And you scoop him up and you drag him, so you kind of like are holding him basically from behind. His legs are dragging on the ground, and you kind of drag him backwards and then kind of diagonal to the first zigzag cone. And then you grab them, throw them on your back for a fireman's carry, and you run them all the way back to the starting line. And then at the starting line, you pick up 2 of the 30-pound ammo cans, and you go back through the course. So you zigzag, and then you get to like the halfway point. There's a fake grenade waiting for you.
Okay, I know we call it a blue body, a friggin' blue body.
You got that waiting for you. You pick it up and you throw it. I don't know how far away the box is. Like
20 yards.
100 yards.
20 yards?
Oh, 20 yards. That's right. Yeah.
There's like a 10 by 10 box or something, or 5 by 5, 10 by 10. I don't know, whatever the box is.
Precision, 3 by 3.
There's a box that's kind of drawn with some cones. If you land the grenade in the box, you get 5 seconds deducted from your time. So like you get faster. If you miss, you get 5 seconds added to your time. So then you throw the grenade, drop down, do 5 push-ups, hop back up, grab your ammo
for
cans,
chesty,
and then you go all the way back through the little zigzag, and then it's a sprint all the way to the finish.
And it's like, so for those listening, that sounds like really long. It is, what's max time? 2:15, 2:05, depending on age, somewhere. It's like low 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, somewhere, it's like a 2-minute gut check. Before we talk in the difference between the PFT and the CFT, Jeff will love this. So, we have like half the battery drilling this weekend because the other half had shot the rifle range and, there's only so many days, this, that, what have you. And so we're doing the CFT and I'm like, hey, everyone's going to run the CFT. If they're here, like we need to start, knocking these things out. So they got 2 lanes going. And of course, Gunny's like, okay, we only got 2 lanes, put up a 3rd lane. And, the sergeant's like, Gunny, and he's like, well, you going to put up a 3rd lane. This is why we're doing the movement to contact. So he puts up the 3rd lane. So I run mine. I guess I'll just go into my recap. Then you can tell me yours, Jeff. I run the 880. What's maxing on that? 245, right? 250.
Again, depends on age. I know mine's 245, but I'm above the.
Okay, no, I think my max is 245 too. I ran it in like 256. I did not max it, right? But I went all out, and here's how I know. So do that. All the Marines go through that. They run like 15 at a time. And then we go do the ammo can lifts. And the ammo can lifts for me is like 120 in 2 minutes. So that's like kind of easy for me. And I finish and I'm like, man, I am sweating my butt off. And so I go and I just chug a bunch of water. And then, I'm doing everything first because, I'm the officer. You do it first.
The leader.
And I'm like, they're briefing the maneuver under fire. And I'm like, I'm going to puke. And I'm like, I've never puked. I've heard stories about people puking. I've seen Marines puke. And so I just walk away like a few feet and just all the water and coffee I had that morning, because that's all I had for like 2.5 hours. I bet you
felt amazing after that.
I felt great. And the Marines saw it and they're like, sir. And I'm like, I get down to the low crawl where you start, before the sprint. I'm like, let's go. So anyway, I run it. I come back. I'm gassed. I think I did max that one or I was really close to it. I'm gassed. And so I'm catching my breath. I'm trying to get some fluids back in me. And then I see this 3rd lane getting set up and Marines start going it. And my driver, Godfather 6 Delta, is doing it. And so I go to watch him do it. And he goes up and he gets the grenade portion. And I'm walking up, 200 yards down or however long that whole course is. And there's a tree right in front, literally it's here's where I'm throwing from. Here's a tree with tons of branches. On the other side is the target. And so he throws it really well. And it's I'll probably get fired for telling the story. It's branch drop and the Marine's miss. And I'm like, what? And
it's realistic.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yes. But also.
And I'm like,
you think there's trees on the battlefield?
I'm like, if they hit the tree, it's not really fair. So anyway, we adjusted course, but it was just, I was like, of course the Marine Corps does that. Hey, you're in lane number 3, thump tree. Miss. And no one was like, oh, this course was set up on a tree. The other 2 aren't. They're just like, that's a miss. He didn't hit the box. Anyway, how'd it go for you, Jeff? 300?
It was good. Yeah. Back in the 300 club.
Ooh, nice.
290 last year. Was really, really sad about that.
Yeah. I think I was 287 or 283 this year.
Last year was the first time I had not. But I think going into last year's, I was having some back stuff. So I remember not really training a ton just in general going into it.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty good. I was like, okay.
Did you miss the grenade too?
No, I don't.
Ooh, 300 with a miss is like a badge of honor.
That'd be crazy.
True.
But
I've done it before. I did 300 and I missed and it dropped me down. So I've been there.
I did. Yeah. I had one time I picked the guy up to do the fireman's carry and took my first step and just fell over with the guy on my back. And I was so embarrassed that I grabbed him up and just I just booked it the rest of the way. And I think I had a pretty good time that year, but yeah, we did the 880. I think I got a 233. I don't know if the course is necessary.
Ooh, boys,
I'd be interested to measure it.
Okay.
That West side
is nice. It is nice in that where you take this turn for the last 50 meters, and that it's a kind of little downhill there.
Wait, did you? Where did you run it on Seal Beach?
We started kind of over by the road that goes back behind the preserve. Gym.
That one. Yeah. I've run that course. Yep.
Yeah, and then you
started up at the top, kind of by the gate. You ran down. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of winds a little bit, and then you take a right at the stop sign.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I ran this one on a track for the first time.
That sucks.
That's kind of nice.
I kind of thought it was nice because I was
on a track one time and I liked it.
Yeah, it was nice because it was accurate, but then I was like, I'd rather have some hungover staff sergeant measure my course,
100%.
and it's actually 800 yards.
I measured it in my truck. My truck also has giant tires on it and it's not calibrated.
I just grabbed my iPhone and hopped into my F350, and that's 880 yards.
So you should go to the Olympics, sir. You just broke the world record.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, there was, I don't know. Yeah, it was fun. I was asking people because I hadn't run that course before, so kind of like asking around, like, what's usually your time? So I could like, okay, who can I kind of like pace off of? Because I didn't really have any like landmarks. But so did that ammo can. Since I'm an old guy, I only have to do 110.
Okay.
So no problem. And then the maneuver under fire was it was just like it was on a turf field. So that was kind of nice. And
that new turf field by the
worried
softball.
About like a little stepping into like a little divot and like blowing out my knee with somebody on my back. So I did enjoy that. But it was fun. It was really fun being out there with the battery and just like.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like you dread, and then while you're doing it, you're like, oh, this is actually really fun.
Yeah.
I remember always
pre like sleep, pre like PFT or CFT sleep, where like I wake up every hour on the hour, just terrified that I'm going to miss my alarm. Like it just,
I love it because if you didn't get a 300, you would have been fired. So I'm glad you stressed about it as much as you did.
I remember always apologizing because you're supposed to match up on the movement under fire with somebody who's like roughly your same size, right?
Yeah, within 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Within 10 pounds. I just remember always apologizing to the guy. I was like, sorry, dude. You're stuck with me now, dude.
Yeah. I was like,
I feel like Grant got me one time.
Yeah, I think I did get you one time.
I think you got me one time. I was like, oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah. When you're like 22, though, it's like nothing.
True.
Like, when you're doing 35, you throw the guy on your back, you're like, come on, man, put your hand on my low back. Like, what are you doing?
Really push it in there. Push harder.
But back to the initial part of this. Yeah, Trey, what I like about the CFT, and I didn't max it, is 15 points shy or whatever, but is if you are in good shape, you can go out and get a really good score.
Yep.
And with the PFT, if you are in good shape, you can go out and get a really bad score. Because if you haven't trained what I would say what is endurance on chin-ups, right? Like you could have a strong, fit guy where his max chin-ups is, 13, 14, 15, bad score. Or you could have a strong, fit, low body fat guy and his 3 mile time. Sorry, this cat's biting my foot again. His 3 mile time is 24 minutes. Which, like, if you put that out across America, like, hey, I can deadlift 405 and I'm 15% body fat and I can run a 24-minute 3 mile. People are like, that's great. But no, terrible time. So I just like that for the way I train. I'm not a runner. If I just stay fit, I can go run a great CFT. But if I want to score well in the PFT, I have to like specifically train for it. Like it's more specified than the CFT is. And forget that I like lift weights. It just in general, like if you were in good conditioning and strong CFT, you can knock it out of the park.
It's a better gauge. Yeah, I think so. Especially for like the mission of the Marine Corps. It's like they always say train like you fight. And then like you're doing a test in combat boots and like carrying people.
Dude, I've always ran 3 miles to the enemy in my Go Fasters every time. Every time. Hey, look, the Taliban.
I don't know. I've always liked it so much more. I never really stress about it. I stress about PFTs, but pro CFT very much so.
Well,
I like them both.
Well, no, what I do like about the PFT is it makes me do something that I wouldn't do. Right. It makes me train for my 3 mile because I care about my score. And so I go out and I work that. And I do think that one of the I think Jeff could tell me if he thinks I'm wrong, but I think one of the PFT's functions is just overall weight control. Because like if you're really fat 3 miles is tough.
Yeah.
And it's like just running 3 miles.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like, they're like, yeah, we know you'll never run 3 miles of combat, but if you have to run 3 miles once a year, like you can only be so fat and still do that. And what's the minimum time? Like 24th, 45, something like that.
So
like it's like
Higher than that.
Is it? It's under 9 minute miles.
What's failing? Score-wise?
That's what I mean. Well, failing score wise or failing run time wise?
Failing score wise.
Well, you have first class, second class, third class. Yeah, it's bad. I think you can do like 5 pull-ups.
See, you lose on the 3 mile, you lose 1 point every 10 seconds.
10
seconds.
Right? Yeah. Off of 18 minutes. So if you run 18 minutes, it's 100 points. If you run 18:10, it's 99, so on and so forth.
What's your highest PFT ever?
My highest PFT ever was at 298 coming out of OCS.
I ran 299 at OCS.
I ran 1814 on the last one, and I've never broken 19 since. And I've only broken 20 like once.
Would you want? I don't know. Yeah.
And now I just pray to break 23. Like, come on, Lord.
I think I ran an 1803 at OCS.
Woo. That's really frustrating.
I was like, was that 18? There's like, no, 1803. I'm like, you sure?
Yeah. You sure? You sure you want to check that again?
Yeah, double check that for me.
It's like so for like 17 to 20-year-olds, the like lowest score on the 3 mile like scoring table for males is 2740. That's 40 points. So okay. I don't know if that's necessarily
assuming you max everything else.
That's slow.
2740. So that's 9 minute. That's 9 minute and 15 second roughly miles.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think for most people in the US,
100%.
Like just 30 minutes. Yeah.
They'd be super happy with a sub 30 minute 3 mile. I'm not saying that the standards should be lower. I think they should be right where they are, but I just mean, like, we all know, hey, you just have to work out consistently and every now and then, and you can run 9 minute miles. But at the same time, if you just were doing the comparison to the general public, like 9 minute miles for 3 miles, like it's not bad. Like, I don't know a ton of people that can do that.
So you're saying general public needs to raise their standards, is what you're saying?
Yeah, general public needs to raise their standards so that because in the Marine Corps raise theirs. No, general public needs to lower their standards.
Yeah.
Like where they can't walk 400 meters, and then it'll be like, all right, new physical fitness test. Walk.
we gotta revisit these standards.
Walk to Arby's.
There's a 5 for 5 roast beef and cheddar waiting for you.
Yeah, then we're gonna have a mental exam where you have to place an order. And
so a third class PFT is between 120 and 199 points. So 120 is the passing score, class. I guess.
Oof.
Right.
So if you got 40 points in every event, that'll be.
Man, that is
rough.
That's
but you know what's good?
What's that?
Was we didn't know what the minimum standard was. We weren't even.
We just focused on those maxes, baby.
We're just good Marine Corps officers.
Hey, max, relax. That's what I always say. I will say I came home 08-11 day. Hoorah. I woke up Monday morning and I was driving to the gym. And I was like, I've done a PFT and a CFT. It's only August 12th. And I don't have to do anything again until after January 1st. Wow, this is a great feeling.
It's a good feeling.
Because everyone, you can put them off. Be like, especially like in the reserves, like, oh, you're going to do it in August? You're like, nah, I'll do it in October. Like, I'll do it later. And then it's just like haunts you. And I'm like, we are 12 days into August and I'm good.
It's great. It's a great feeling.
Yeah,
we did it one year where I think we caught the PFT on the last week, and then we just turned around and did the CFT on the first week, and we were just done with everything.
Yeah, I've done that one time.
Yeah,
I actually did that my first year in the reserves because I got out November like 25th was my last day, and then I joined And I thought I didn't have my orders didn't report until like January, but I was joined to the unit in December.
Okay.
And so it was like I was going to get a required, did not take. So I went down to Pendleton on like between Christmas and New Year's and had Master Guns Ortega administer my CFT, did it. And then like, so between Christmas and New Year's, I did the CFT. And then I reported to Third Anglico, and the very first drill was a PFT. And like I did them like I did them within like 13 days or something.
That was great.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about that.
God, that was the same when I joined to the reserves, and it was like I think exact same thing. Like I was going to drill in January, but I was on the rolls in December, and so I remember getting hit up by
you went to like the recruiting station.
It was like, you got to do a CFT, and I was like, what?
Low rider Leo. All right, let me.
There's like
go
a
ahead.
recruiting station in Salt Lake, so I like hit them up and got some random sergeant that's like their ops training sergeant to like do a PFT at East High School, which is like the high school that the School and High School Musical was filmed at. So no big deal.
Love that musical. Definitely.
I got the altitude score too, because the football field and track was like right above the threshold.
Old man times altitude equals major.
That's right.
All right, let's get this guy in here.
What's up?
Oh, what a nice shirt you got there.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm wearing the same thing in blue, but for the listeners, welcome Stephan Garcia to the OK podcast. Where are you joining us from tonight?
Home, Lutz.
What do you call it? The roach pad or
the roach nest?
The roach nest. The roach nest. Yeah.
That's where you live?
That sounds lovely.
That's where he's spinning picklets. And
all right,
lifting
so
weights.
who's the A&M guy and who's the Auburn guy, just so I know?
Oh, good way to start.
Jeff.
Go ahead.
So Jeff's the Auburn Tiger.
The Auburn guy.
And I'm an
Eagle.
A&M guy.
Gotcha. Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting SEC little thing I saw today. It was how SEC you are based off your closest proximity to a Waffle House. University of South Carolina Gamecocks won at 0.2 miles, and in last place at number 15 was Texas A&M. They got to drive 69 miles to get to a Waffle House.
You got to drive to Austin.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's how you know it's
Crazy.
fake.
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Is the South Carolina? Is it in the stadium?
Not quite. It's
close.
It's right next to it.
Yeah.
Might as well be. Okay.
The one in Auburn is relatively new. I remember that it was not there when I was there. I know that, even though it was like 0.9 miles or something like that. It was not there when I was there. So it's newer. It's newer.
Well, we got a lot we want to talk to you about, and it'd be exciting. Everyone that probably likes you is kind of like us, similar age, remembers when you were playing. We could talk all the football stories. But before we get into all that, I'm kind of curious, college football quarterback, but you run your own business now. I see you training kids online all the time. You kind of took what you love and made it into a business. I've always liked the gym and strength training. I've kind of done something similar. But, before we go back down memory lane, what's your business and how did you get into that after college? And is it growing? Are you content where you at, or how's that going?
Never, and I say this all the time, never in a million years did I think I'd be making a living doing this. And I hear myself sounding like Coach Spurrier way more often than I care to. But yeah, man, it was my first off season when I was up in Canada. I came back down here to Tampa and I was out there throwing on the turf field, and there were some other guys doing some training. And, one of the guys that was doing speed training came up to me. He's like, dude, who the hell are you? You can throw the laces off the ball. So we just started talking. He's like, okay, well, this kid, he's a 7th grader and, his dad is trying to look for a quarterback coach. Would you want to do that? So long story short, I talked to the guy on the phone and he's like, what do you charge? And I was like, dude, I have no idea. I literally don't know what you're asking me.
You told me.
He's like, well, I'll just give you $100 a session. I was like, oh, all right, shit. Great. Yeah, that works. We can do that.
It's a lot of beer.
So and it just kind of blossomed through that, and, just word of mouth. And I got kind of a half-assed website that doesn't really drive any traffic, but, it's like, Greg, as you know, like, our Grant, as you know, like, the social media marketing is, I mean, those are the new commercials, right?
Yep.
So, it just kind of spreads through the word of mouth of the Tampa's a small town, and it just kind of blossomed.
So do you have like you graduated in 10 or 11?
I was removed from school in 11.
Yeah, there we go. 11, it was over. Because I graduated college in 10. We'll talk about this later, but I remember when you got kicked out, I called my older brother, alumnus, and I was like, dude, I can't believe Hyman did this. But we'll get into that later. But anyway, 11, you get kicked out, whatever. You get removed, whatever we want to call that. How long's your business been running? Has that been the last 5 years, or has it kind of been like since, because you did the Canadian Football League for a while?
Yeah. So I was up there for 2 years. And then I came back down here, did the Arena League for a year. So 2014, 15 is when this whole thing kind of got kicked off.
Okay. And has it I'm kind of similar. I got my coaching certificate, in 2016. And they automatically, the organization puts you on a database. And I had a similar thing. Like, people called me. They're like, hey, I'm in Las Vegas and you're the only guy on the West Coast. Like, can I come train? And I was like, yeah, it's a 1-car garage. He's like, great. What are your rates? And I was like, and $100, the same thing. And he was like,
right.
Great. Can I come Saturday? And so that's kind of how I started. But then it's evolved into a lot of things. You have systems in place. Like, do you think your business acumen has gotten a lot better to where now you know exactly what you're doing?
For absolutely.
Yeah.
As you know, when you first start doing it, you kind of don't know what to charge people. You don't know how long a session should be. I mean, you really don't know what to say or do. And as you keep growing the business, I mean, it's you're obviously going to get better. It's like anything else. You practice it long enough, you're going to get good at it.
Yeah.
So I mean, and what's cool about it is that I've done stuff with some of the kids' parents who own businesses. I've done marketing stuff for them. I've helped them do connection with other stuff, and I mean, it's kind of blossomed into a lot of different avenues.
And that's your full-time gig?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. And then
That's awesome.
Yeah, let's do. Hey, love what you do. You'll never work a day in your life. Am I right?
Exactly. And it keeps me in somewhat decent shape.
Yeah, somewhat decent. We see it up and down. Have you fasted recently?
No, I was talking to my wife and a couple of my buddies. I may do it next week, actually.
Okay. Well, text me. Maybe I'll do it with you. I'm due for one. I'm back up over 230. I'm like, it's time.
Yeah.
You got any studs in the pipeline?
I'm more towards the younger guys as the business has kind of gone on, because obviously the kids get older. They go to play college, and they rarely come back. When they do, I'm here for a month when they're in town. So it's the business has kind of gone towards the younger side of things. But there's a couple high school kids. It's just, dude, it is so competitive these days. I mean,
really?
Seeing some of these guys on Instagram and seeing what they're doing and in games, it's not like just throwing on routes on air. It's like in games. And you got to think every single quarterback in high school has a quarterback coach now. So, I mean, the level that these kids are at now is significantly different than, when I was coming out of high school.
Really?
So what were you ranked out of high school? You're pretty high up there, right?
I think I was the third dual threat guy in the country behind Cam Newton and Tyrod Taylor.
I don't want to talk about Cam Newton.
Overrated, dude.
As soon as I said Cam Newton, I knew he was going to say something.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
You don't mind if I take a drink, do you?
No, please.
Ooh, classy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, classy, a little wine. Yeah, okay. And so now, wait, when you say younger kids, real quick, you're working with kids younger than high school? Because I'm just thinking, I watch your Twitter really actively ever since we connected. You bought some gear in 2020. I've followed it. And when I watch those kids playing, I'm like, man, these kids are good. And I don't know anything about it, right? But are those kids not freshmen or above? Are they younger than that?
There's young high school kids, and then there's middle school, and I mean, even elementary. I try to keep the age limit to 8 years old, but some of these kids, and I was telling my wife, I was like, "There's no way that kid's 8 years old." So I'd asked the kid, I was like, "Hey man, when you turn 9 years old, you look 9. I turned 7 in like 3 weeks." I'm like, texting my dad. I was like, "Look, man, like, I'm not trying to do like a babysitting type operation." So, that's a different conversation. But yeah, I mean, there's from obviously 6 years old all the way through professional guys.
Jeez.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot of stuff. Every week we use a Slack channel to communicate podcast topics, and we've had you booked for I don't know a month or so, even before Tailgate Talks 247, which we want to make sure you plug a lot this episode. But we got a lot of questions, and so I don't know. Let's go around the room. Trey, why don't you hit them with some of the ones that you have?
Man, you mentioned recruiting, so I remember we were all in the Marine Corps together. Grant would give me a hard time because I would just like. My happiness would just like depend on the decision of like 18 to 20-year-olds every day. But I used to follow pretty closely. I got a life, got a family, so I don't follow it nearly as closely now. But I'm always interested in like recruiting stories and just like kind of why you chose South Carolina. It's like who else was like you interested in at the time, like kind of how that goes.
I mean, recruiting nowadays is significantly different. My son's going through it now, and it's
Big Memphis, shout out, follows the Strength on Instagram. We love him.
It's completely different, dude. But I mean, as far as like when I was getting recruited in 2005, 2006, it was the old school. Like, you got 5 official visits. You can come and, hang out with the boys and kind of talk, what the atmosphere is like, go out and visit it. And, nowadays you have guys that are getting paid to come on official visits. So, I mean, the landscape has completely changed. But that being said, I mean, my recruitment was freaking awesome. To answer one of your questions, the reason I chose South Carolina was, Coach Spear sat in my living room and with my parents, and he's like, you can go to Oklahoma, you can go to Florida, go to these other schools that have, a rich tradition. They've historically won, or you can come to South Carolina where historically we've been fucking terrible. And, kind of start your own tradition. And I was like, man, that's kind of a cool recruiting pitch. And, I believed in it. Then I started, telling the other guys about it. And I mean, I like to think that we kind of did that in our own little special way.
100%, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. What 3? Yeah. I mean, that was the best it's been. I mean, before that we had Taney Hill and, that was it. Well, when you say other guys like that team, and I can sit here and name all the players, like if I were in the locker room with you and I was just like up in the stands watching, but like what other guys do you feel like you like pushed over the edge? Like, hey, don't go there. Come to South Carolina.
It's kind of hard to say. I would kind of say all of them. I was never allowed to have a recruit as a host. For some reason, I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know why.
I have no idea.
That's odd. But Coach Mangus, our quarterback coach, every single time, he would text me and be like, "Hey, make sure so-and-so gets to your party that you're hosting tonight." And
all right.
Sure shit they did, and that was it.
Mission accomplished. All right.
They were sold.
But I mean, you could say that for really any university that, and then especially in the SEC, you go anywhere out here and you're going to have that kind of operation going. I mean, I wanted to go to Auburn, take a visit there. Obviously, kind of made the decision to go to South Carolina before, but yeah, I mean, the SEC is a completely different level. And it still is, 15 years later, rather, than when I was playing. It's just the amount of athletes and the loyalty to the fans, just the atmosphere, everything I wouldn't change it for the world.
100%.
Yeah. It's like we let Texas A&M in and it went down, but it wasn't ruined. It's still hard. You still have to play hard.
For sure. Yeah. Now we got Texas, now we got Oklahoma, and God knows who else is in there now.
Yeah. Jeff, what you got?
Okay. So kind of touching on that, right? Seeing the kind of whole, like, the classic Big Ten and SEC and all these conferences that we kind of all knew growing up, and now seeing them just like becoming these big super conferences. Kind of what's your take on just like the general landscape of college football in terms of, all right, we have these power conferences, the playoff now soon moving to 12 teams. Like, do you think this is overall good, or what's your kind of just overall feeling towards it?
I am completely torn. I thought the system was fine where it was. But I mean, I think it's, you got to kind of adapt and you got to adjust. And that's just the way the world is right now. I mean, you look at the NFL, there's salary cap, there's, guys getting traded all the time. It's trickled down to college football with the transfer portal and NIL. And now you got high school kids. I don't know what it's like where you guys are at, but in Florida, high school kids can get paid now. It's absolutely insane. So that being said, I think players should get paid, but that's a whole different conversation. But as far as, your question, it's yet to be seen. I like that there's at least more than 14 playoffs. I think that's a huge benefit. But as far as the super conferences go, I don't know. I think that's just what it's coming down to, and that's just the future, and that's obviously what's happening. So I don't know. I guess we just got to sit back and enjoy it. I mean, it's all we got.
Yeah, that's all we have. So
true.
All right, before I kick it back to Trey, because I know he's biting at the tooth to talk about NIL, I want to ask you about a game. So my brother, I'm kind of like the black sheep. I'm the least successful person in my family. One of my brothers is the president of Home Depot, Gamecock grad. He just spoke at like the graduation keynote speaker. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, we were watching Boo Williams in the 90s. And like, now you're speaking at graduations. And I texted him today. I was like, hey, I got Garcia on the podcast tonight. And he's like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, like, I've been like talking to him for a few years. So he thought it was funny, but he was like, ask him. Him and I went to Birmingham for the bowl game against Connecticut, and we laid an egg, lost 20-7. I'm not, hey, this is a tough podcast. We asked the real questions, but he was like, and I was like, if I ask Steven this and he gives a good answer, he's now connected to the president of Home Depot. So, he's good, but he was like, what happened? And, there was like so many ups and then random downs, and there's so many things that go into it, right? Like all of us as Marines, like you'll perform, you'll shoot artillery at this like high level, and then like an evaluator will come in and you'll do everything wrong. And you're like, no, the team was great. You don't understand. Like everything was in place, but like this guy did this one thing. But like that game, I froze my butt off. What happened?
I think you just answered yourself, man. It was ice cold, absolutely freezing. And we're playing against Connecticut, and I mean, I remember that first drive. Do you remember that first drive that Connecticut had the ball? It was. I think they took the entire first quarter and just ran the entire time.
It was like 12 minutes or something.
Yeah,
just took the air out.
I don't want to give excuses. It's just when you got guys like Alshon dropping the ball, something's
crazy.
Going on.
Yeah,
so,
it was crazy. So
it is what it is. And that I remember that game, distinctly, especially the post game stuff. Sitting next to Eric Norwood, and just tearing up. I was like, man, that's so shitty how these seniors went out. That's not at all how we wanted to perform. And yeah, that was a tough game for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about toughest games in a minute. All right, Trey, back to you.
It's all right. At least you didn't lose to App State at home. So at least you're on the road.
You guys just did a bad job at the midnight yell. You didn't say
that's probably what it was. Yeah.
Dang.
Oh, man. I don't know. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's like, I'm not naive. I think we kind of talked about it before. It's like going back to NIL. Like, I'm pretty aware that players at some point are getting paid at some level, even before NIL. And I don't know. I think I agree with you. It's $1 billion business, and like the NCAA is, and so I think they deserve to get paid some level. But I don't know if it's gone out of hand or kind of what it's become. It seems like it's just out of control right now. It's kind of, what are your thoughts on NIL?
No, absolutely, dude. I mean, you got guys that have never even played a snap of college football. Archie Manning, he's the second highest paid NIL player.
Yeah.
The kid's making like $3 million a year or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. I think when you have guys that have kind of shown that they are valuable, then that's safe to pay them. But when you're telling some high school kid, Quinn Ewers, when he went to Ohio State, I don't even know what they offered him. You know, he left high school early, and I mean, the
$1 million
NIL,
bucks.
It's the Wild West, and they're trying to put a lid on it. I don't know, but again, to your point, and to what I said earlier, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you can bet your ass that guys are getting paid. I'm not saying who. I'm not saying who from where.
We don't want it.
I did not. I got nothing. I remember they told me that I was white and had rich parents, so I didn't need any money. And I was like,
"You're like define rich parents."
I said, "My parents have money. They don't give me a damn thing."
I'm not rich. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's the NIL is changing the entire landscape, man. There's no, you know, me and Pat were talking about this the other day. Like, there's no real loyalty anymore. And I talked to Coach Beamer. I see him after practice, and you know, he looks exhausted because you have to recruit these guys out of high school. Then you have to recruit them again every year,
continuously. Yeah,
every day. Because
every single day they're saying, "Hey, you know, so and so got paid this much, so now I need this much." And if you don't pay them, they're gonna be like, "All right, well, I'm leaving." And that's just the loyalty of college football has been tainted for sure.
Yeah. I look at was it Oregon this year? Like, A&M put together a killer class based off NIL like a couple years ago. They had a great class and it fell apart because everybody left. But I look at Oregon this year, the Nike guys just like shelling out money just to win a championship for you guys. So
I saw that. Phil Knight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's weird. And like, you look at even someone back to like the social media, and that's where the stuff is, and the commercials, like who did it well? Deion Sanders, right? Like, I love like all the memes that say like, remember last year we were all Buffaloes fans the first 3 games of the season. And like, I'll tell you, I was, and Jeff was. I actually bought Jeff a pair of the like Blenders sunglasses because I just liked like all Deion's speeches, and he did it, but then it didn't work. Right. And it's like, and then all the guys all left, and I'm just like, man, you know, there's something about, and maybe it's just a Marine in me, but it's like, hey, you get these people, you're deploying with these people. And it's like, I don't have the perfect people. I could have a better guy over there. I could have a better guy over there, but this is who I got, and we're all stuck together. And like, that builds momentum. And so like, I like guys getting paid. I hate the transfer portal. I think it's like the worst. Yeah. Like, don't get me start with what's my boy's name? Wells, Juice,
Juice
whatever.
Wells.
Like, yeah, like, I mean, it's like, I want you to be paid, but like, you got to have some skin in the game that like, I'm getting paid because I'm a Gamecock,
right?
Or whatever team, right? Like, but because you lose that, and it's like, oh well, I want to go over here next year, so I'm just going to stop trying this year. You know, it's wild.
Grant, don't let me forget, before we get off of this podcast, I got to tell you about my amphibious warfare class.
Oh, yes.
That I took with a bunch of Marines. Just don't let me forget that story.
Okay, you got it. We won't forget that. All right, while we're hammering college football home, Jeff, you got anything for him? I mean, there's a good chance to talk about the SEC championship. I was there. Jeff wasn't, but I was. You know, what do you want to talk about there?
Oh, I was going to ask you, like, what's a good HBC story you got? Like, I remember like growing up, like kind of really starting to get into college football. At the time I was a Georgia fan just because like my best friend was a big Georgia fan, like went to a bunch of games and like, man, just couldn't beat Florida. And like Spurrier was like just the guy that was just impossible to beat. And just like almost like that original kind of Nick Saban for me, of like, oh, this guy is just,
don't give Saban that much credit.
He just stacks the deck again and again. But how crazy was that having Steve Spurrier as your head coach? That's gotta be so cool.
It was not that cool, to be honest with you.
I'd also love to know how you felt then versus how you felt now. But I like it. Yeah.
But I mean, it's what I tell my son. It's what I tell these high school kids and even the young kids. It's like, the one thing I regret is that like I was extremely hard headed. You know, I would come to practice with a lot longer hair than this and a giant freaking beard. And, you know, Coach Spurrier would be like, you're going to cut your hair and shave your beard, right? I was like, no, I'm not. And that's all he would talk about the entire practice. He wouldn't talk about, you know, a good throw, a bad read, a good read. He wouldn't talk about any of that. All he would care about is my hair. And it's like, why does this guy give a shit about my facial hair, my hair so much? And so it's like, man, I just wish I wasn't so hard headed. I wish I would have just shaved my face, cut my hair, towed the line. I mean, you look at the success that Connor Shaw had. He did, and I was hanging out with him the other weekend. He's like, dude, I was so like envious of like your talent, but I just saw how Coach Fair interacted with you, and I wanted the complete opposite. So I shaved my head, shaved my beard, the whole deal. So yeah, I mean, it was chaos back then, and I wish I did myself a little bit, better favors. But man, we have a great relationship now. Like I talk to his wife all the time. I talk to Coach all the time. Yeah, I mean, it's a tremendous relationship we have now. It's kind of water under the bridge.
Yeah. He's also one of those guys that like, there's been lots of good coaches that we've seen. And obviously I'm super biased as a Gamecock fan, although he'd brand himself as a Florida guy, but like that kind of personality and energy with like the press conference, like talking about how the team played. Like I'm almost like he was like a precursor to Trump, right? Like I don't 100%. Care what you think. I'll say whatever you like. I'll say whatever I want. Screw all of you. You're an idiot. I'm leaving. Like I don't know. Like I always like just love that guy.
I mean, yeah, you're 100% right. And we talked to him the other day, and he is the exact same way. He says what he wants to say when he wants to say it, and if you don't like it, then too damn bad.
Yeah, that's right. Get out of there. All right, Trey.
Let me see, man. I know they're making some changes this year to let's pick your brain, kind of like on the quarterbacks, like how it's evolved since you've been there, and kind of the game today. I got like probably 4 questions we can get into, but I don't know. One of the main ones is like back at like what kind of offense? I know Steve Sawyer he had a pretty wide open offense as far as throwing the ball a lot. This kind of what his MO. Do you think, and that's kind of been adopted by everybody, like, do you think it's cyclical? You think it's ever going to go back to like 3 yards in a cloud of dust, or you think this open offense is here to stay? Or
that's a great question. I don't know, man. As soft as they're trying to make the NFL and it trickle down to college with the whatever the hell they have on their helmets now with practice. I saw it the other day, and I was commenting. I was like, dude, what the hell is on your helmet? Like, have you seen it? It's like
makes it like 10 times bigger.
Deal.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous.
It looks wild. So I don't know if they're gonna make the game expand wider, or if they're gonna shrink it down to where it is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, who knows? They could be playing a flag football within the next 5 years.
It's in the Olympics next time in Los Angeles, I think. So
next go, yeah.
There's going to be flag football in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I might have to start loosening it up.
Yeah,
there you go, dude. Look at that gold medal, baby.
They're testing it or whatever. How like breakdancing was in the Paris ones. Like the U.S. got to pick. Like, okay, we're gonna do like a trial run of flag football. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, I might have to.
Yeah, they're slinging around. Yeah.
All right, so I'll ask a question that these guys won't get. You'll get immediately, and then I'll qualify it. Craig Fitzgerald or Luke Day?
I don't know Luke Day like that.
Okay. And I don't want to put you in a weird spot. I know your podcast is Gamecock Central, all that kind of stuff. But
I don't think it's unfair to say that I like Fitzgerald more often. I mean, he was freaking awesome. That guy was an absolute savage. We're talking about strength and conditioning coaches. The current one's name is Luke Day. And so amongst my like Gamecock network, there's like a group thread whenever a game happens. And whenever the Gamecocks are looking weak, particularly like on the O-line, someone will say, fire Luke Day. And then people will reply, hire Strength Co. And it's like our joke, right? So it's Garcia, you're not endorsing this. It's just what we do. So someone was like, hey, ask him about Fitzgerald. But we do talk a lot about weightlifting in here. As you know, my company makes weightlifting equipment. We talk a lot about coaching and stuff. As you're a quarterback at a high level, what kind of stuff are you doing? Are you doing squats and deadlifts? Are you doing plyo box jumping? Like, and when you talk about your young kids that are throwing ball, because I know you've messaged me a few times about your son, and you like tag them, like, watch this video. And I always am like, wait, which video is this? And it's like, hey, squat, drink milk, get bigger.
And that's why, like me as a strength coach, I was like you as a quarterback. Cause I'm like, yeah, it was, what were you, 230?
My playing days were 250.
250, right? You were big,
go.
right? You trucked people. And I'm like,
Hell
that's
yeah.
how, like, if you're stronger, you're better. I think that in general, but also it's good for my business. But like, what kind of stuff did you do strength wise? Or were you just 250 because it was like 24 natty lights every Friday?
I mean, so I got to South Carolina at like 210, 215.
Okay.
And I remember doing like a zone read and running out, and Eric Norwood again ran behind me and caught me, and he was 260 or 270. I was like, okay, well, I'm clearly not fast enough to outrun these guys. I'm just going to put on a lot of weight, so at least the shit don't hurt. Yeah. So, I mean, my first strength coach was Black Iron. Coach Spurrier brought him on from Florida, and he was a deadlift, squat, just heavy weight. And that, I think that's when I tore my labrum. So then we got Coach Fitzgerald the next time, and we didn't do any of that. We were doing kind of like the TB12 method, to where we're doing more resistance bands. We were still like benching and squatting heavily, but we weren't doing any sort of the powerlifting or any of the other kind of crazy stuff. So it was more just like resistance and kind of stuff like that. But I still maintained the 250 weight.
Okay, so you're 250 right now. What are you after a fast? Like 238?
No, I'm like 230 now.
Okay. Oh, you're 230 now. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
My wife's over in the background laughing her ass off. She doesn't think that's accurate.
Yeah, I know. I say that too. But like, you just had a baby. So I was like, my best like powerlifting, I was 250, and then I went down to 210, and I lived there. And then my wife got pregnant, and it's like, all she wants to do is eat. And the best way to make her happy is to take her to eat. And like, I'm not going to like sit here and order one piece of chicken while she eats a burger. And like, all of a sudden I'm like 235 again. And I'm like, oh man, like that happened fast.
It happens in a very, very quick moment, in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, for sure.
She's over there laughing right now. I don't know if you can hear her or not. But like I'd go play golf with some of my buddies, and we drink a couple beers, and then I'd come back home, and she's like, I'm really hungry. Let's go get a burger. I was like, that sounds great.
Say less.
What a great idea. Yeah.
Great idea.
I heard they got pitchers there too. Let's go.
Let's get a milkshake or an ice cream. That sounds even better. Hell yeah.
Perfect. Oh my gosh.
Man, I was going to kind of piggybacking off Grant's question. Like, how much does I don't know, I've never been in like a football locker room. Does the strength and conditioning coach, like, does he set the tone of the culture? Like, what's that relationship like with the players?
He's kind of fast forwarding 10 years to where you're the head coach of the Gamecocks. I'm Luke Day, and he's just thinking about how it's going to be. So yeah, go ahead.
I don't think that they can ever hire me. I got too much baggage. I'm too crazy on social media for them to hire me.
That's right.
Come to A&M.
But yeah, Trey, to answer your question, it's 100%. And that's, I forgot who talked about it, but one of the coaches in college, it might've been Saban actually. It's like the strength coach is who these guys are with 90% of the time. You got winter workouts, the coaches can't be there. You got summer workouts, coaches can't be there. So realistically, the position coaches and the head coach can be there for spring and fall. And that's it. So, we were with the strength coaches all year round, and, as big of a knucklehead as I was, I had a pretty good relationship with Coach Fitzgerald, and we still talk to this day. So which is kind of cool. And man, those guys definitely set the tone, man. It's there's no question, and I think that's why we were so successful, is because he was an absolute psychopath, and I think it kind of ran through the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'd like me calling him a psychopath, actually, but.
No, we can clear that up in post. We'll let you listen to this. If there's anything you want to take out, we can clear it up in post. But in the Marine Corps, if you say respectfully first, everything's forgiven.
It's like with all due respect.
That's true.
Yeah, with all due respect. Yeah, with all due respect. Yeah, with all due respect, Joe Biden, you just crapped your pants. So yeah, we're on the same page. Okay, so you went through with a lot of like freaks. Again, I'm biased. You got Ingram, Norwood, Jeffries, Lattimore, Shaw was on the team with you there at the end, right?
Yep.
Like when you think of, because I feel like you're super talented, but also just like, no, we will win, like mentality. Like I've always told people in the Marine Corps, like, I'm not that smart. I'm just like, but I will make sure we get there. Right. So like when you go through like the people you played with, who are you like, wow, that dude is like a freak. And like you got to put Gilmore in there too, obviously. Like, and I'm forgetting a bunch of names, but like, not that any of them are going to listen to this, but you know, what do you think of
as far as like just athletic, just animal, or you just mean like just like, what do you mean?
I just mean like just natural given, like for example, your business is to take kids that maybe they're gifted, maybe they're not, but you're teaching them how to throw the football, but like you're teaching them something. I'm talking about like just like natural, like, wow, like how can this person do this? I mean, like regardless of position.
The easiest answer in the history of answers is Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, that's, that's
yeah. But did you see that on your level? Like were you just like, what is happening here?
He had two reps, 2 reps when he first got to South Carolina and just blew past our second team all SEC left tackle, blew past him. And Spurrier goes, all right, Clowney, you're done. You take your shit off. Take your pads off. You're not practicing anymore. I literally could not get the ball off. I took 1, 2, done.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, that's he was by far the most freakish athlete that I've ever seen. But then, I mean, there's other guys that are lesser known, like Jared Cook. Jared Cook from the free throw line. Wesley Saunders was an unbelievable athlete.
Saunders was fantastic. Actually, his social media is fun to this day. Like he works at it hard. It's a little different than my style, but like I love it. Right?
Yeah, he's over there in Miami doing Miami things.
Yeah, it's very Miami. Yeah. All right, before we wrap up college football and get into this amphibious warfare, you guys got anything you really want to ask? Number 5.
Let's get and it doesn't have to be necessarily, but I had a buddy that was on the practice squad for Auburn, and he would always go against Nick Fairley. Did you ever get into it with Nick Fairley? I know there wasn't a huge overlap between y'all, but
no, we played, or I played against him twice. I think he was voted the dirtiest player in the NFL his rookie year, right?
Yeah, he was.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I can't even describe some of the stuff that was said, that was done underneath that pile on those little 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, I fair game. I mean, I said a bunch of crazy shit too, so I don't feel too bad. But I mean, Nick Fairley was on a different level. Just weird stuff, man.
Yeah. So obviously, before we leave, now I got more. Obviously, beating Alabama has to be your favorite memory, right? Or no? Okay. All right. Well, then let's just ask.
That's just great memory.
Game.
Yeah. I was in section 307. I'll tell my story real quick. I'm sitting up there on the upper decks. I'm next to a guy named Mark Lifshay. He got me the tickets. I had graduated the Citadel. I was living in Raleigh. I drove down for it. I thought we were going to get smashed. We're up there. And I just remember like late in the second quarter, I remember looking at him. The guy was like 55. I was like, we're going to win. Like, we're going to win. And like, I've said that in a lot of Gamecock games, but I believed it. I was like, we're going to win. And so for me, like, that was probably one of my favorites. But yeah, if it's not Alabama, what is like your favorite? I mean, putting the 5 wins on Clemson. God.
Well, it's either beating Clemson in Clemson or beating Florida in the swamp. I mean, being from Florida and having uncles and cousins that are Gator fans.
Spurrier.
Like that was definitely the best, kind of shutting all those people up, especially in the swamp. I mean, that's it, just being from here, that's probably my favorite one. But the second one, believe it or not, it's not them. It's beating Clemson in Clemson. Yeah. Same thing. Anytime you can beat, teams that you're not supposed to beat in their stadium, it's indescribable.
Would you say? So my nephew is a freshman at Georgia this year, and I have 17 nieces and nephews. We're a big family. He's the oldest one, first one to go to college. And I always hated Georgia growing up because they beat us all the time. But I don't hate them like I hate Clemson, right? Like I live in Greenville and like I see the colors and like I'm just like, I hate you. Like you're not a man. You're a man for Kamala. Like you're the worst. Like I hate them. And like he goes to Georgia and I'm like, hey man, I'm going to come to a game with you this year. And I'm going to be the biggest Georgia fan. Like who's coming down the track? Like I'm in, right? But like when you talk about old school South Carolina Gamecock rivalries, or you just talk about rivalries in general, like people like to make Georgia a big one, Florida one, especially during the Spurrier era. But like, I just always go back to there's no pro sports in this state.
Right.
You got two options. And I think that's what, and Trey will argue with me about Texas, but now he's an SEC guy, so whatever. But like, when there's no pro sports in the state, you have one option, and it's pick your college team. And there's two to pick from,
right.
Like, what are your thoughts on the rivalry?
I mean, to be honest, I had no idea where Clemson was on the map. No idea. So as soon as I get up there in January of 2007, they're like, oh yeah, you're going to beat Clemson, right? And I was like, sure. I don't know who the hell that is, but sure. And, I came to find out just how big of a rivalry that was. I mean, they've kind of beaten our ass over the last decade. So it's hard
they have.
It's hard to say too many negative things about them, but yeah, I think beating those guys, those 5 years in a row, those are the glory days, man. We got to find a way to get back to that. And it ain't easy. It is not easy, but go ahead.
Did Beamer get them last year?
No, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. It's been
rough. They finished the season beating Tennessee and Clemson out of thin air.
Dude, that was a great year. And A&M.
Yeah, I was at that game. The guy had the kickoff return.
That's rough, yeah.
Rough for you, great for us.
Rough, man, yeah.
All right, before we move on, sometimes in this podcast, we take a college football team and we go through their schedule. But I'm sure you've looked at the Gamecock schedule pretty in-depthly. You've been there. I've seen you at the practice stuff. Tailgate Talks 247. Look it up on Instagram. Look it up on X. Follow Stephan Garcia. We'll get to all his links later. But you're involved with the team to a point. You're a fan. Obviously, you care about your alma mater. Like, what do you think, realistic as a former player being there? Like, what are you thinking about this year?
Yeah. I got a chance to see him for media day and for the first practice, and it's definitely a significantly physically larger team than I've seen in a while. At every position, literally every position. It was kind of remarkable to see. But that doesn't always translate into wins. So I think it's going to be interesting, man. You saw the schedule. I saw the schedule. It's going to be a challenge to make a bowl game. But
so that's kind of where I am.
That's what we signed up for, man.
Yep.
You come to play in the SEC. You're going to play ball every single weekend, and if you don't, you got a team like Old Dominion. You come in there and smack your face week one. You take them lightly. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I think it's good for us, to be completely honest, because I think a lot of people are, what are they estimating that we're going to win like 2 or 3 games or maybe 4. So I think flying under the radar is going to be, to our benefit.
Okay. So you would say my kind of take is 8 wins is a great season.
Oh, yes.
6 is a good season. And like, if we win 4 to 5, like I wouldn't fire Beamer, right?
I don't think he's fireable just yet.
Yeah. I don't really think he's like, if I'm Shane Beamer, I think the point that I'm making right now is like with the transfer portal and the NIL, like you're navigating a whole new system
for sure.
And that should buy you some time of like, because when I look at Beamer, you got 3 kids, you got one, like how old's your oldest son? Is he 16? Yeah. Right. So like, you're like thinking actually about college, but I just even think of like, when I look at these coaches, like who would I want my kid to play for? And I'm like, Beamer seems like he cares about everybody.
There's no question.
And he wants to win. And like, he's just navigating a system. And because of his dad and his own coaching pedigree, like we know he has the capabilities. So I'm just like, hey, when people are like, oh, is he on the hot seat this year? I'm like, no way.
I don't think no chance. And I can tell you, man, just from being out at the practice field, I mean, the energy is palpable. And there's one thing that Coach Beamer's going to do, and Coach Elliott and Coach Robinson, who I've known for over 10 years.
I love Elliott being back.
They're gonna get guys fired up to play. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm on Team Beamer, and I hope he has a fantastic year. And it's going to be tough, but I mean, that's what you sign up for when you have the SEC.
For sure. All right. Anything, guys, before we leave? Just straight college football talk. Jeff, you're good.
No, I want to hear about this class.
Yeah. Tell us about the Marine Corps class.
All right. So it's 2011. I graduated already, so I'm taking a bunch of electives, and I take this amphibious warfare class. It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm the only civilian in the class, and they made sure that I knew that. I show up to class in like this, a backwards hat. Everybody else in the whole, the battle suits and everything else, the camo. And so we
ask
played
him to shave your
Navy.
face.
I think it was Navy week 4 or something. No, I did not shave my face. No.
Good.
So we played Navy. And, right before class, he's like, it was Colonel Reisner. I still talk to this guy to this day. It's my favorite professor, favorite teacher.
Was he a Marine colonel?
Yes.
Love it.
Colonel
Dang,
Reisner. So, class dismissed or whatever. Everybody stands up, the whole salute and everything. And, I try to do it. I'm trying to be respectful and everything. And before he leaves, he goes, all right, as you guys know, there's a civilian in the class. He just so happens to be the starting quarterback for the team. So I want to make one thing clear to you, Mr. Garcia. Beat those fucking faggots from Navy. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, and then, all the Marines are like, hoorah, motherfucker, let's go. They're like, pushing me and shit. It was absolutely, I'm getting goosebumps even talking about it. But
we beat him. I was at that game.
Yeah, but I was like, hey man, like, aren't we all on the same team? And they go, yeah.
Heck no, dude. No way.
Heck no.
Marine Corps Uber, baby.
Exactly. He goes, we'll call it when we need a ride. I was like, dude, that is unbelievable. So
That's great.
That's probably one of my favorite, stories from class ever.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's what we call good Marine Corps leadership right there. Like knowing your audience and like getting them fired up. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was at that Navy game actually for Trey's sake. My brother-in-law is also named Grant. He had just married my sister, and my brother Jordan, the Home Depot guy, and I I had another brother who went to South Carolina, but he's not big of a football fan as Jordan and I are. And we were like, dude, you don't understand. Like your 12th man is gay. Like come to South Carolina and see Sandstorm, like see Cocky come out. And so he came and he's like, you're almost about to lose to Navy. Yeah. And I was like, no, just you're not even in the SEC. You don't know. And then now they're in it and it's like different. So, but the great thing about Texas A&M is you can always make fun of the male cheerleaders and the midnight yell. And so like, even when they're good, you're just like, oh, we can just make fun of that.
That's true.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. All right. So
A&M just doesn't care.
Yeah. They don't care. Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
A&M's got, what I'll say, A&M's tradition is legit. Right. Hey. It's fun to make fun of, but it's been there a long time.
We're a cult, baby. Drink that Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Drink the Kool-Aid. All right. So we got a couple things. We do in this podcast every time. One of them was we have a sponsor. As you know, we're sponsoring new podcasts. Actually, before I go into my shtick, tell us about your new podcast, the first day it's dropping, plug some of your sponsors, where they can find it all that kind of stuff.
Well, the first episode is dropping in, I don't know what time, but tomorrow. So that's pretty cool. It's called
awesome,
Tailgate.
dude.
I'm sorry.
So that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, man, this podcast shit is exhausting.
Yes.
But it's so it's Tailgate Talks 547. Yeah, so the first thing drops tomorrow. We got your boy on the sponsorship.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a couple other sponsors, and yeah, man, it's exciting. But like I said, it is a lot more work than I anticipated doing.
Yes.
You know, and I'm going to talk to you, Grant, here in a little bit. I don't know how you guys do the, you know, being in different areas, because I do not want to go to Columbia to film this stuff.
Yeah.
That damn often. It gets expensive.
Yeah, text me. I'll tell you. But yeah, the podcast game is tough. And shout out to, like, there's podcasts that I followed extensively that made me think we could do this. But then when we did it, I was like, wow, this is a commitment. And that's like, well, when you were doing it, I was like, well, it's Garcia. He's going to stick with it. Like, yeah, I'll support it. Because there's so many podcasts you look up and you like it, and there's like 10 episodes and then it just stops.
Right.
And now that this is episode 34 for us. And I mean, we got a guy missing. So the guy that usually sets up all the electronics and stuff for me and is here in house is getting married. So I'm like, dude, don't worry about it. He's like, no, I'll do it from the road. I'm like, don't worry about it. But like it becomes a lot. But okay, so Tailgate Talks 547,
Yep.
right? So number 5, 40 DeMarco. What's the 7?
He was 47.
I thought he was 40 DeMarco. Wasn't it the nickname? Because he had a 4.0 GPA. That's what it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't even know that. Yeah, that was your roommate. You didn't even know that. I knew that as a fan on Reddit. Okay, so he was 47. All right, so Tailgate Talks. You're on Instagram. You're on X, right? We got to say X in respect to Elon, right? You're on X.
Yep.
And but you're also on Gamecock Central.
So they're doing the audio. It's a weird deal, man. Gamecocks Plus is producing it and editing it.
Okay.
So they're going to have the visual feed, and then another company, I guess, is getting the audio feed. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm allowed to say that or not. So
yeah, well,
Yeah,
we can clean it up in
anyways.
post.
Yeah.
I'll let you listen to this beforehand. You can clean anything up you want.
So yeah, but as far as everything else, like, so I talked to the guys, and so I didn't know who this was, but it's called Learfield. They own all the marketing to South Carolina. And they basically said, like, if you're going to have sponsors on visual, we're going to take all of it.
Yeah.
It's
So that's
and
where my money's going.
they protect it pretty violently. So, you know, they're going to do the recording, the audio, and, you know, we're just going to get like snippets, and we're going to post it on, you know, kind of like how Tucker Carlson does his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got like the full video, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't give a left wing example. You always got to go to the right. Yeah, you know how Tucker does stuff.
That's the only way.
Is it purely college football, or is it purely South Carolina, or what?
So it's going to be, you know, main point is going to be South Carolina. We're going to talk kind of SEC in general. Going to get a bunch of former guys on, South Carolina guys. Going to get some, you know, opponents of that week that we're playing against. So say we're playing against Clemson and try to get Taj Boyd on there, get, you know, Jordan Rogers to be on for Vanderbilt, you know, a couple of guys like that. So that's, and then, you know, go from there to the NFL, from the NFL to college basketball, college baseball, kind of stick with the South Carolina theme.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you're looking for a weekly.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So once a week.
Cool.
But, you know, we'll probably, you know, I'm hoping that we're going to do, you know, a couple episodes, you know, when I do go up there, you know, film 2 or 3, 4 or 5 episodes so that we have kind of a backlog of stuff to do.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. And to all the people that want to start a podcast that are listening, we're like 2 episodes ahead right now because one guy's getting married. This is going to release the weekend of like college football launching. But man, when you are ahead, it is so great because you're just like, oh man, I'm ahead. But at the same time, podcasts are like, for what we're talking about, sports and fitness and politics and whatever, like, hey, like it kind of has to be current. So it's a weird line to ride. Okay. So, at Tailgate Talks 247, right?
547.
547. Oh, my bad.
My
I forgot your
GTA was
number.
not 2.0.
Yeah, my bad. That's where I went with that. Yeah, 547. We'll put the link in the show notes to check that out. Okay. Also, we have a sponsor. You like sponsors because we're your sponsor. We have a sponsor called BW Tax. And what we do is we do an off the cuff ad read. So we'll each give you like a couple facts about the business. And then you just like chug the wine and give it your best go. So what I will say is this is actually interesting. And I'm going to go into more detail than I usually do. He's a guy from Massachusetts, which is where my family's from. So being a guy from South Carolina, you can only pick one thing college-wise, and I picked the Gamecocks. Pro sports-wise, I have nothing to choose, so I love Boston sports. That's why I like your buddy. His name's slipping my mind.
Uva.
Mike Uva. Love him. Like, love that guy. No one has ever like understood my sports life more than him. Like, he loves the Gamecocks and he loves all Boston sports. So anyway, we give a couple facts. This guy's from Massachusetts. He comes down here and I'm telling him all about the Gamecocks. He's like, I don't care. I take him to the night game against Kentucky with the fat quarterback from Kentucky. Who did we beat? What was that guy's name? You remember that game?
Yeah,
Jared
Lorenzen. Hefty
Yes.
Dusty.
Yes, we
Rest in
win
peace.
under the
Hefty
lights.
Rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, seriously, I didn't mean any disrespect.
I've never seen anybody drink a beer as well as he did. By the way, that's a side note.
That's a strong comment coming from you.
And I'm saying I consider myself a good beer drinker. This guy put me to shame.
Yeah, so that game I took him to, he's
Hell
like,
yeah.
I'm in. And then I take him to a College World Series game. Or not to College World Series, like super regionals. And like when the ball's going back from the catcher to the pitcher during warm-ups, I was like, shoop, ooh. He's like, dude, you guys are in. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is all we have. So he's a big Gamecock fan. He's from Massachusetts, big Gamecock fans. He's a CPA. You're opening a new business. He can do your taxes no matter where you're from. Trey?
I would say kind of his big selling point that I really like. Small company has this like family feel to it. And so whenever you call him, like you won't get like a machine or some AI bot. You'll get a human talking to you, giving you the facts.
Yeah. Jeff?
Just know they are the tax experts over there at BW Tax. They know the ins and outs, all the crazy ways that the government tries to take your money, right? They know how to work around all those tax codes and stuff like that, cut through the red tape and get you as much of your hard-earned money back in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So with all that information, Stephen, you feel like you're ready to do a quick ad read of why people should reach out to BW Tax LLC?
The bars down here. Yeah.
It's low.
Yeah.
I think you guys are going to like my response. I don't know though.
All right. Go for it.
BW Tax. They send your money right to Ukraine.
No, they keep
Record
your money,
it.
they keep your money coming from Ukraine. I love it. We'll let that one. We'll let that one ride.
No.
As soon as you said tax, that's all I could think of, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You drive a Humvee, right?
Every now and then.
No, but like for these guys, they probably don't follow you as closely as I do. But like you have what they will get a kick out of. Like you have I think we call it an M1152 in the Marine Corps, but you have an actual Humvee, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Well, do you like drive that on the streets of Florida?
Not all the time, but a good amount of time. The gas mileage is really good.
Does it work?
Sure.
It does. It's got air
Okay.
conditioning in it.
It's better than the Marine
Wow.
Corps. Yeah.
Yeah,
better
seriously.
than we
Who's
have.
your mechanic? We need to
Hire that guy. Yeah.
None of our AC works.
Jeff, you think you can get a good okay from him? Maybe leaning back on his Marine Corps amphibious training, his his strength coach, his Spurrier, wherever he thinks he needs to channel it from.
Okay, yeah. So we always get the guests to like kind of our little like, I don't know if you want to even call it a tagline, but it is okay. But you kind of get like real like guttural, have it come deep from down inside you. Maybe you heard a couple Marines say something like that when you're amphibious
line
warfare
coach.
class, or like
Yeah, it might have been Sean
somebody
Elliott.
hits a big lift in the weight room. They're like, okay. So let's hear your best. Okay.
I might have to go outside for this. I got my baby sleeping in the other room. Can I move?
Oh yeah, we like it. That's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
We like preparatory stuff.
Oh,
Are you burning
We're Oscar
Christmas
Mike.
trees? Are you burning Christmas trees out there? Look at that Stranko,
look at that.
Stranko
Look
bumper
at
plate.
that.
I love
Look
it.
at that.
This guy
It
knows
just happens to be sitting there.
product
That's his-
placement. My favorite.
that's his
thing.
cushion. Yeah.
No, my wife had an idea. She's like, yeah, before you call in, start curling that thing and just enter the chat.
You know, I think your wife needs to be a future guest. 'Cause
Yeah,
she's
just
been
have
a
her on
great-
next week.
She's been a great contributor thus far.
For sure. She's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right. So I gotta just do an okay, like a roar.
Like Sean Elliott pumping up the O line, get him ready.
Just a good old fashioned okay.
A good old fashioned okay.
Okay.
Now?
Yeah, whenever
you're ready.
Okay.
Yes, that's up there.
Yes.
So when people do it well, we put it
That's
on the
number one.
soundboard. I think you're on the soundboard. You're
Get
gonna
him
be
on the
that number
soundboard.
future episode.
That's number one.
Um,
That was awesome.
Here, I'm gonna show you this thing real quick.
Okay.
Well, you guys are still here.
Okay.
Okay.
There's the hummer.
look at
that. She is.
I told you.
That's awesome.
Oh,
It's
man.
not on blocks. It works.
That's a
Yeah.
big film bitch.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Stephan, thanks for coming on. Text me after. We'll talk about podcasting, whatever you need. But we really enjoyed you. We'll link
For real.
your podcast in the show notes. We'll link whatever you want. Just text me later. We'll put your Instagram, whatever. We don't have the biggest following, but the following we have is super loyal. And so we'll get them over to you guys. And being based in South Carolina, they'll probably come and find you. Anything you want to say to anyone before you log off here?
Just swallowed a giant mosquito right there.
Welcome to Florida.
No, man, that was fun as balls, man. I appreciate you guys, and
Hell yeah.
hoorah, motherfuckers! Hey,
Yeah. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
all right, man. We'll see y'all.
Good dude.
Good
dude.
Good dude.
Feel like he enjoyed that.
That was awesome.
I just,
That was awesome.
you think BW is going to take that the Ukraine tagline now? Just use that as his.
Oh yeah.
What, basically, Stephan doesn't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that.
He was like, text me before, and he's like, "Can I talk politics?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. Like,
You can
go
talk
for
whatever you
it."
want to. Yeah.
Yes.
Good
it.
dude.
Good dude.
First football player we've had on.
I think that checks out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Jeff
mean,
played
let's
football
try-
in high school.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure
That also
counts.
checks out.
So
Yeah,
technically
good dude.
second.
Really good.
Yeah. No, dude. Yeah. That's-
Yeah. What else we need to cover? I mean, what else can you cover at that point?
I don't know. What else can you say? Hmm.
Any slides you need to cover?
Trey was commenting about how good China is at
Oh,
weightlifting. So maybe
dude, yeah,
you need to
well,
bust
first of
into
all-
that market.
Ugh.
You need to get
Just when I think
some
I'm
made in
down, you
USA
bring me
in
back
China.
up.
I guess, yeah. So
throw a
Olympics,
reversal.
Olympics ending, and I was
Yeah.
blown away. I was like, because I kept thinking, I was like, okay, U.S.
The
is going to
machines.
start. They're going to start pulling away on the gold medal count because that's what I was kind of following low key.
I hope you weren't thinking the
Weightlifting.
weightlifting was going to be the spot they were going to do it.
No, I thought track and field, and I thought like I go ping pong's over. China's done winning gold medals.
They have
And
no
then-
more in the tank.
Yeah, they diving's over, ping pong's over, artistic dancing's over. They got nothing left. And then out of nowhere, it's like all these like Chinese people are
Dude,
just
they're
like
so
smoking them. Dude, they're phenomenal at weightlifting.
Especially on the
It's
the men,
funny.
dude.
It's funny that you weren't privy to that's how it goes because we actually medaled for the first time this year since 1984.
I saw what's her name?
Women's gold medal.
Yeah, gold.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No, she got a bronze. She got a bronze. Right, Jeff?
I thought she broke her world
Maybe.
record.
I don't want to take it from her. I think we bronzed for the first time in 30 years. I don't want to take anything away. No, it'd be 40 years. But I think it was the first bronze. But in any event, if you want the long and the short, why Jeff looks it up, China has way more people than we have.
True.
And we have way more money producing sports than they have.
Yeah, they care way more about weightlifting.
Like they care so much to like, they are like, oh, you're 4 and you're genetically strong. And whereas here, it's like, if I'm an athlete, I play football.
You're playing a sport.
I play basketball. Weightlifting is a sport, Trey. Come on, give us that. I play basketball. I play baseball, right? Like there's like a lot of things. And over there, I think they care about gold medals more. But what was the last time who won a medal? What was the last time we did?
So Olivia Reeves won weightlifting gold at the Olympics, second since 2000.
Okay.
So it's been over 24 years.
24 years.
Dang.
Yeah. No, we're bad. We're bad. And I don't think we're going to get any better anytime soon. Like, I think people that are even gifted, like most, no knock to any of our Massonomics listeners or people like myself that have done over a dozen powerlifting competitions, but even people that get into powerlifting, it's like a hobby, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any hope. Like you need the nation's genetically gifted people to care about weightlifting. And the payout is so low compared to, I mean, I thought CJ Cummings from my hometown, Beaufort, was like a bright spot. And he's still good. Like he's still doing it. But like he's literally from my hometown, like grew up 5 miles from where I worked on shrimp boats, like awesome kid and genetically gifted. And, you know, he's done fine. But you need like not just like a genetically gifted kid from a hometown. You need like, hey, give me all the best NFL players. Who's the best at weightlifting? Put them and make them do this sport. And like, they're like, why would I do that?
So you're saying it's going to be dominated by the Soviet bloc and
I think the Soviet bloc and the Chinese bloc, for one, they pump the kids full of steroids. Which not saying that Americans don't, but like they do it like strategically. They do it strategically. And 2, they care about it. And like in this country, we don't care about it at all. Like you have lifted weights since I lived with you in 2016, 17, wherever it was. And now you're telling me, wow, China cleaned up. Right. Yeah. Like we just don't care. We care about the Stephan Garcias and like, why did he get kicked out of school? He should have been left as a quarterback. Right. Like we care about other things. And so I don't think, not to knock any Olympic weightlifting coach out there, but, or as Jim DeNofa, previous guest, would say in the podcast, everywhere else in the world, we just call it weightlifting. Only in America do we call it Olympic weightlifting. But like, not to knock on any of those coaches, but like, I just don't think we're ever going to put the talent forth to win that. And I hope down the road, people listen to this podcast and are weightlifting that we do. But
it's up to Grant and Massonomics to change that. Yeah.
Dang. I mean, there might be like one-offs here and there, like, you know, every 24 years.
I think
like,
this year was a one-off.
But like, I mean, China is just like systematically cranks out gold medal weightlifters consistently. It's crazy.
Yeah. So PJ's not here, and usually there's like buttons that are lit up, but there's no buttons lit up. And when the buttons are lit up, I push one and I pull a slider up and a thing plays. But there is one button lit up. Let me press it.
Let's try it. Ooh,
be careful, Grant. Ooh. No way.
Not what I wanted to happen, but kind of perfect.
That can't. That was pretty good.
You playing that?
No, I didn't. I promise you I didn't.
Yeah, I was 100% playing.
I know. I swear I did not plan that.
Grant thought about this joke like last night. He's like, you know, it'd be funny if I played this shit.
Yeah, he's been thinking about it for a week. Once PJ was like, I'm not going to be there, he's like, I got an idea.
I don't even know if I can replicate it. Let me try. Nope.
I feel like that was perfect too. Yeah.
That's also good. Wait, hold on. This is
Okay.
PJ stacked the deck ahead of time. He's like, all right, Grant, you're gonna hit these
I have
buttons.
2 buttons. I've not pressed them both. Let me make sure I do the same thing every time.
Okay.
They do.
Great.
But
Yeah, anyway.
I-
But
we-
we're
we
going to
can all
plug
do-
BW Tax one more time.
yeah, we can just go around and just say our favorite things.
Yeah.
Like,
Trey, what do you love about BW Tax?
man, I love he's good at taxes, but BW's just a great, he's just a good human. You know what I mean? Like, good dude. But he's better at
Good
taxes.
dude.
Yeah.
Great
Jeff, what do you
taxes. Great at
Jeff,
taxes.
Jeff, what do you like about him?
They got a small, it's a small operation,
Yeah.
but that's on purpose, right? They want like a leaner operation where they can take care of their clients and get them the help they need when they need it, right? They're not this big bloated organization where they got so many people that they'll respond to your email 72 hours out. Like, no, you call them, they're going to pick up the phone. They're going to be on the line, answering your questions, getting you the best refund possible.
On that note, I texted BW today and I said, Stephan Garcia is going to do your ad read for your business on the podcast tonight. What questions do you have from him? And he said, pregame ritual, Alabama game memories. Did he pee on a professor's car or not? Favorite spot in 5 points, NIL takes and future of college football. Best and worst college stadiums and locker rooms. Worst hit he ever took. What did Clowney look like in practice? Spurrier stories. And what I like is that you have this gigantic business owner named BW, but yet he sponsors a podcast and you don't talk to the vice president of media. You don't talk to the vice president of marketing. You just talk to the sponsor himself and he has real questions. And I'm glad that we hit a few of those. So if you don't know what to do with your taxes, well, before I say the website, go ahead, Trey.
I will say, if you're a college athlete and you're getting NIL money,
Better hit up BW.
you better hit a
tax.
BW. He would know exactly what to do with that.
Seriously, you're 18 and like you haven't even taken your first snap and you're getting money. BWTaxLLC.com. Trace, dad come.
Dad, go.
Yeah, there it is.
Dang.
All right, at this point in
Go.
the episode, we always have Trey take us in for a landing. Big Trey, go ahead.
One save round. One save
what
round.
episode?
Oh, save round. We got save round.
Do we get save round?
And it's not
And
not
an
gonna
alibi.
add it's not gonna add like anything to fuck. You're like, why did you speak up about this? But have you ever seen anyone that's cool wearing transition lenses, meaning like the lenses that like when you go outside they turn into sunglasses, you come back inside they turn into regular glasses? Like,
I have strong opinions on this, but I'm going to let Trey go first.
they're the funniest thing in the world to me.
First of all, don't sell yourself short. That's a great save round. To answer your question, no, but I feel like it does the opposite because I see the lens change and I'd be like, I don't want to talk to that person. Like it helps to kind of point them out. You know what I mean?
You kind of appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel like Grant wears them sometimes.
Jeff, are you kind of the same opinion?
I think that, I get the practicality of them. Everyone I've ever seen wear them is the same type of person. And I'm just like, this poor kid needs help.
Okay. I'm going to go to the, when I say kid, I don't mean kid. I mean young. And so I have my driver, Godfather 6 Delta, and he's lost 25 pounds. He's doing a great job.
Dude. Yeah.
Good dude. Great dude.
Great.
He's
dude.
Mexican. He loves my music choice when we drive on my phone, which we can barely hear in a Humvee with the, windows open. And we went on a battery run. And I was like, you're my driver. You're my guide. To be fair, classic Marine, the battery guide crashed his motorcycle in between drills and broke his leg, so he can't run, like just as every Marine would do. So I'm like, you're my guy.
Classic.
And he's like, sir, I won't be able to keep up. I'm like, not with that attitude. Like, you're my guide. So he comes up, he's got the guide on, and we go for a run, quick time march. And we go, and, some gunnies out there screaming cadence. And I look, and like we're holding the guide like a fishing pole. And I'm like, hold it, crossbody arms. You got this, driver. And very quickly, a staff sergeant grabs the guide on and like runs around the platoon. And like the driver just like falls to the back. And then, but I'm like, this is my driver. Like, you are my driver. You can't do that. So I'm like, stop the cadence. And like the cadence stops. I'm like, driver, just like Master Sergeant Cad used to do. And like he comes up to the front and I look at him and he's wearing sunglasses. But like I can tell he just worked really hard to get from the back to the front because I like publicly shamed him. So I'm like, I'm not going to talk about his glasses right now. Give him the guide back. We finished the run. I think nothing else of his glasses. Like I think nothing else until final formation. And I'm like, school circle on me, fall out. And they do. And there's my driver. And like, I'm on the brand of, I will publicly humiliate you because you are my driver. And like, you will like that. And like, you will get better. And I'm like, why are you wearing sunglasses in formation in front of all the Marines? He's like, sir, they're transitions. And I'm like, I don't even know what to say right now. Like, I
forgot those existed.
As you were.
Take them off. So,
sir, where'd you go?
Yeah.
I can't see.
Driver. He runs the other way. So yeah, transitions are interesting.
Interesting.
But anyway, at this point of the podcast, Trey does this thing. We're at 034.
Episode 034.
Football weekend. This will air on the Friday. It'll be after the first college football game.
Okay.
That happens Thursday night and before Big Saturday. So however you want to take that, Trey.
Let's put ourselves at that date. We're all excited. All of our teams have won. And we all say,
Okay.
It took us a minute, but we got there. You've been listening. This episode 034 of the OK Podcast. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank our guest, Stephan Garcia. A lot of fun to talk to. Hope he comes back at some point in time. Good dude, as we like to say. Thank our sponsor, VW Tax, keeping the lights on. Are we still powered by the Strength Co?
Last I heard.
Last we checked, we were. Hey, we have a Slack channel Strength Co does that we'd like you to join. Love to interact with you there. Links in the show notes. Click that. I'm sure Grant would love to throw you a discount code if you use
if you're not watching on YouTube,
it's below. But yeah, sure.
Grant's doing hand and arm signals.
Yeah, thank you for narrating that. On that though, yeah, go to YouTube, like and subscribe that channel. Leave some comments there. Go to www.theokpodcast.com. Find all of the social media there. We all have our own individual, social media accounts that we like to talk about.
Some of us are more active than others.
Very true. Jeff's live as we speak.
Follow us. Shout out to all my followers.
Yeah. Coach, did I miss anything?
No, I think that's good. If you need help with lifting, reach out to the Strength Co at www.strength.co. If you need help with taxes, reach out to the person that sponsors this podcast, bwtaxllc.com. See you next time.